Before we get into the information, this is what you're going to type in, everybody, when I keep referring to the link, the link, the link. All right. Deborah Willis talks about her friendship with Michael Jackson. It's very straightforward. All right. That's what you're going to type in into the search engine on YouTube to be able to go and watch this. Now we'll get into the information. What's up, everybody? This is the Jedi. I can tell you that this is after I have released the video for you about the attack on my Muslim community in New Zealand. I was checking another video of mine, and this was off to the right. It is an hour and 19 minutes and 35 seconds of the most riveting, engaging thing that I've seen on the subject of Michael Jackson since he died. That's a profound statement. I'm not able to play the video for you. I'm linking it in the description box down below, and you guys can go and watch it. Apparently it's been out since 2018, and there's just over 17,000 views on it. I'm surprised, because if this has been out since 2018, it should probably have 17 million views. And that's why I'm presenting it, because of the response to my own video. The Michael Jackson people came out of the woodwork. And brought receipts, and you guys were amazing. And that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this, because I thought they should know about this too, you know. But why I want you to see this is because there's so many bells and whistles that went off for me that made this lady so profound and authentic and believable. And that's why I wanted to present my portion to you. Like, you're going to go and watch her in the link, but I'm here to just share my own story and give you some credence. You make your own decision. You make your own decision. You make your own decision. I have to begin with, from the standpoint of somebody, I've told you guys I have and have had celebrity friends. I know that world. I know that world. And I know how I have befriended celebrities, or how they've befriended me. I also know celebrities who they don't have real people around them. And while nobody on earth is ever going to be as famous as Michael Jackson, there can still be a commonality in the factor of fame as it relates to loneliness and authentic friendship. I purposely paused there just so you could process what I just said. All right. Several things she said. When she talks about how she and Michael met, she was security at a toy store in New York. All right. What she described about him coming in echoes what I know from one of my ex-girlfriends. When she first became friends with Michael, they had gone out to Neverland. Well, she had, she would be places where Michael was going to be at. She was like the stalker fan, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, she was just diligent and knew where to, how to get to where Michael was and things like that, And so she would be at a lot of places that he was going to be. She had seen him before, she had gotten autographs and all that kind of thing, but they weren't friends. Then she's a part. She became part of some Michael Jackson fan club, something, and a bunch of them were out at Neverland, just outside of the gates. And Michael was returning from somewhere, and when the limousine pulled up to the gate, it was an SUV, and security came across the street and said, because there wasn't a whole lot of them out there that day, like it was like a billion people, it was just like a handful, and the security came and said, you know, would you guys like to come with Michael? He wants to invite you. And the next thing she knows, they're in the limousine and they're going through the gates of Neverland. But they only stayed for just a couple minutes, and I don't if I remember the story correctly, they didn't even get out the limousine at that time, because I think it was just they were stopping in because they were going directly back out to Toys R Us. That's what I'm trying to get to. All right. And so they were going to Toys R Us, and when they got there, of course they have to close the place down if Michael's coming. So Toys R Us was closed down when they got there, and they let them in. And Michael was just like, everybody can just get whatever they want. But of course, everybody was playing and they were having fun, and ha 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 ha. And my ex-girlfriend has told me intimate things about his demeanor and things like this. I've never shared this with you guys. I've just told you that one of my ex-girlfriends became friends with him. We knew she would eventually meet Michael, and because she was the biggest fan that anybody knew of his. So I've never even shared this, but she's told me intimate things that make this woman's story ring true. And beginning with when she met him, there was a toy that he was looking at, and he couldn't understand how it worked, and he couldn't get it to work or whatever. And she went over to help him. She was like, may I, and he was like, yeah, and then she got it to work, and when it does whatever it does, it startled him, and they had a laugh or whatever. But I'm talking on 2 pages now, y'all, because I'm gonna tell you her, and then I'm gonna reference it to my ex-girlfriend, all right, so that I can contrast the two. Now, my ex-girlfriend has said Michael wasn't one of these people who, he could tell, as most celebrities, and then I can testify my own story. Celebrities know when you just there as a clinger on, or you're trying to just get close to them because of who they are, and that type of thing. And they also recognize when there's this rare situation where it can be normal. Like sometimes you just meet people. All of us have met people and know people right now in our lives that when you met them, you just like felt that way, like as if you knew them, and like y'all just clicked. They could have been a transient in the gutter, or they could have been Michael Jackson. That human commonality that is irrespective of class and status and fame, right? So when they experience that, they recognize it because it stands out like a sore thumb in their world. Because everything in entertainment is fake. I've been to after parties, and people are at parties, and they you can see the ones that are perusing, and they come to you and they want to find out who you are. They're trying to see, should they latch on to you. Who are you? What do you do? Who have you worked with? And this, and you know them. You like, this is a peruser. So they get that same vibe. And so knowing that, and also knowing what my ex-girlfriend has told me about Michael, the way that this lady describes their whole situation checks the box. You understand? Let me also say this before I go any further. You guys know that I'm a very, very good trier of fact. It's one of my many gifts. It's one of my many gifts. It's one of my many gifts that Allah has given me. I'm a very good trier of fact. You put a human being in front of me and they talk. You put an article or a letter or anything written in front of me. You put a video clip in front, whatever you want to put in front of me, and I will break it down to its last molecule. I can do that. And I don't have to work at it. It's just one of those things. I don't remember not being like that. So if this heifer was lying, I would be saying the heifer is lying. You see. But alas, she's not. And her story is very profound, everybody, because it proves several things. A, it proved that Michael Jackson indeed was murdered, as we all know. All right? We are in no question, in any doubt about that. It proves that Michael was murdered. All right? She talks about, and I'm going to jump around, just so I give you some immediate receipts, right? Now, at one point she talks about, excuse me, she talks about the Jedi burping in his videos. That's what she was talking about. I'm over it. She talks about how Dr. Murray was not a friend of Michael. That the powers that be that were putting on that whole This Is It O2 concert, they're the ones that sent this guy in. They sent him in. Michael didn't have a choice. And he would say to her, he's always trying to give me stuff and make me take stuff. All right? Now, let me isolate right there. She says, well, if you don't want him, why can't you just get somebody else? He said, I can't do that this time. She goes, but you have everything at your fingertips. You can do whatever you want, basically. I'm paraphrasing her statement. He said, not this time. This time I have to listen. You know, this time I have to listen, or they can make everything go away and they can destroy me. Now, I always tell you guys about knowledge converging, everybody. Knowledge converging. In this case, knowledge converging is, when I watched This Is It, listen, I've been on movie sets, I've been on television several times, I've been in television movies, I've been on video shoots, my own and others. I've been on television sets, etc., etc. I have been with the celebrity, and I have been an extra. I have been the talent myself, etc. What I know is, there's one thing to be nice, and there's another thing to seem like you're an employee. When I watched This Is It, the thing that stood out to me was Michael was almost afraid to criticize anything. That stuck with me. And I think now that I'm saying it, some of you hearing it right now are going, I know, huh? Hear me now. Hear me. I was struck by that. He was too nice. Michael's always kind, but this was too nice. It was almost like employee be on best behavior, corporates coming in type nice. I'll give you an example to ring the bells for you. There was some music issue when they were doing The Way You Make Me Feel. Not when they're in that rehearsal room, but when they're on stage. And after the intro, judo, 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 all right. Now, Then there's that break. Michael calls it sizzle. Gotta let it sizzle. All right. Then there's that and then the song would start. Well, the guy came in and Michael goes, no, I have to cue that. I have to cue that. I have to cue that. And then whoever it was said something. He goes, that's why we rehearse. It's okay. That's why we rehearse. It's okay. That's why we rehearse. Like he didn't want to, like, I hope I'm not making nobody mad type thing. It was too much. And Michael is a nice guy. So this was like, made it even more like, why is he being this nice? He's already nice enough. All right. That's one. Next receipt. I've said to you, Michael Jackson has never used ear monitors in his life. Not in public. You know, have we been in every recording session he's ever done? No. All right. But publicly, we have no video, no pictures of Michael ever wearing these ear monitors that everybody wears now. He didn't need them. He never wore them. You understand? And these people will have on these ear monitors if they're at like The View or something. You know, it's like a television set, like a talk show, where it's a small room basically. And they will have ear monitors in. Here is Michael playing 80,000 seat Wembley or something like that. No ear monitors in. He didn't need them. But here he was when they were doing that, rehearsing that segment of the old songs. I Want You Back, Stop the Love You Save, etc., etc. I'll Be There. And I think that was the segment. Don't hold me to that, but y'all know what I'm talking about. It's in This Is It. And he has the ear monitors in. He didn't even look right with them in. And he wasn't performing right. And Kenny Ortega realized something's wrong, and he stops. And just their whole conversation, the way they would talk to each other, was bizarre to me. Is everything okay, Michael? Did you want more, Michael? And like, don't keep saying my name. Like, whoever you are, if you know me, stop saying my name. Jedi, did you want more, Jedi? Jedi, is there something in Jedi? What? So it was just like, so Kenny sensed that something, and he goes, and so they stopped the music, and he goes, Michael, is there something wrong? Did you need something else, Michael? Was there something else that you would need, Michael? Is there something you need, Michael? I'm getting sick even reciting it back to you guys right now, so if I pass out, I won't edit that part out, but I'll probably be passed out for at least an hour. It'll just be dead air, and then I'll come back. All right, just so we have a game plan. Now, and then Michael goes, it just feels like, and like as if he didn't want to say it, like a kid, you know, like, if I say this, they're gonna get me, you know. And he was saying, he goes, I don't know, it's just I'm not used to in my ear to feel like somebody's pushing their fist in my ear. It's just like somebody's pushing my fist in my ear. Did you want us to turn it down, Michael? Would that work for you? Could we turn it down for you, Michael? And then Michael goes, yeah, well, you know, yeah, maybe just a little bit, like just a little bit. Like, all of that doesn't happen. If there's no animus or anything like that, he's the star. He would say, wait, stop, cut. Listen, you guys, I'm getting too much feedback on my monitors. We need to turn this down. Any artist would say that. It wouldn't be seen as a diva move or anything. You're working. It's a technical issue. Nobody would take offense to that. These are things that come up in rehearsals. So it would just be, wait, hold up, everybody, hold up. Listen, engineer, I need the sound in my monitors turned down a little bit. I'm getting too much. And it would just be that, and they would move on. That's what made this stand out. 'Cause Michael didn't stop it himself and say, wait. It was Kenny Ortega stopping it. Michael, was there something wrong, Michael? Did you need something, Michael? I just feel like somebody's, you know, just feel like somebody's got a fist in my ear, just like a fist. Okay, maybe we could turn it down a little bit for you, Michael? Would that be okay for you? it was just bizarre, y'all. But again, I don't have another piece of the puzzle at that moment. So it stuck. Now it's knowledge converging. And there's other things that I could cite for you in This Is It, but I think that's a big receipt to explain to you the type of stuff I'm talking about. Now you can go back and rewatch This Is It and see other stuff that we won't get into here because we can save time. I've already laid enough foundation for that, at least, to make my contrast. Now, so when he says, I have to listen this time, otherwise they'll shut everything down. They'll destroy me. That makes his demeanor on that stage make sense now. That's Michael Jackson, the most famous human being known to civilization, and he's up there not able to stop a rehearsal and say my monitors are too much. Listen, somewhere here I've got videotape of when he was rehearsing for the Bad Tour. And he's doing "Wanna Be Starting Something," and it's and it's going. He goes and he starts singing. He goes, "Wait, the bass is too bouncy. The bass is too bouncy." He's got the mic. The bass is too bouncy. He goes. They're still playing because he's trying to coach him into it. He's trying to give him what he wants, and they're making adjustments. They're still playing, but Michael is dictating as they're playing it. That's a real rehearsal scenario. Not somebody else has to stop it and you're suffering and you can't articulate it. And you have to wait for Kenny Ortega. Michael, was there something else, Michael, that you needed, Michael? Was there Michael? Was there Michael? So I believe her on that. Here's another thing. She said there was another doctor that he wanted. She said, but it's an old man whose name I don't know. And Michael wanted him to come on the tour with him, but this old man told him, I'm too old, I can't go with you, Michael. Knowledge converging. That is Dick Gregory. That's Dick Gregory, everybody. Because remember, Dick Gregory told us, Michael had pulled him into the room and said, they're trying to kill me, they're trying to kill me. And he smuggled Michael out and took him to a doctor friend of his, and they pumped him with fluids for like a day and a half or something because he was severely dehydrated. And Michael was afraid to eat. He said, Michael, you haven't eaten, you need to eat something. He goes, I can't eat, they're trying to poison me, they're going to kill me. I can't eat, they'll kill me. She says it so like she just goes right past it because she's telling her story. But it was profound truth. Profound. And yet, and evident truth. Evident. I always tell you guys about evident truth. Evident. So she's talking about this old man, this older gentleman, who's some kind of a doctor or a healer or something, and Michael wanted him, but he couldn't do it. And Michael didn't really have the power to bring him on. Plus, the guy was too old to go. He's the one that told Michael, I can't. I'm too old or something like that. So he's kind of still stuck with Dr. Murray. She doesn't know Dick Gregory. She can call his name. But I know that's who she was referring to. Allahu Akbar. Now, she has receipts of her dealings with different family members, all right? She wasn't a gold digger. She wasn't one of these people trying to be all in cahoots with Michael because of who he was. Their friendship was real. I can relate to that, because of celebrity friends of mine. I've shared with you guys in fact, my relationship with Vanity is perfect to contrast here. Because I've told you guys, after probably the first couple weeks, I was over the Vanity thing. I was over it. It just washed away. It didn't matter. And we both would have the moments. Like, I would forget she's Vanity the star, and she would forget, oh, that's right, you were just a fan. Because we were friends now. We were family. So it didn't matter. And she talks about how she wasn't into Michael because he was Michael. I get it. People that haven't been in this position, they can't imagine you could be around a celebrity and you aren't there because of who they are. Well, we do exist. We exist. I'm one and she's one, clearly. You see, I had not even just friends of mine, but people that know the story. Or it's people that we would be around when I was with Vanity, you know, and they just assume I'm her dude. No, we're just friends, you know. Um, like I say, when I first met her, obviously the first day I met her, oh my God, you're Vanity. I wanted her autograph. We began to have casual interaction with each other before she eventually invited me to her house for the first time. You understand? And so I'm a dude. So if I got there and she was like, "Yeah, I feel like, you know what I'm saying, it would have been a smash." You see, you see, but then I'm not a predator dude, and I'm also, I know very clearly, I've learned in my life as a man, I never had to ask for intimacy from a woman. I never had to ask. Because I knew from a young age, if a woman wants you, she gonna let you know she wants you. And she wanna smash. That's all you gotta do. You just be ready. You feel me? You don't have to ask. Right? Now, so as our relationship developed, it got to a point where if all of a sudden out the blue, if she had been like, I think we should be intimate, I'm sure I would have went through with it, but it would have been with some hesitation, because it would have felt like, but we friends now, like, and not like friends like the type I like to be friends with all of my lovers. You understand? Like, you can't be my lover if you're not my friend first. But I come into it with that. Not like we're friends and then, oh my God, suddenly we're going to be lovers. That's when it's weird. You know, it's kind of like, if y'all know what I'm talking about. If you, hopefully you can understand the difference in those two. You feel me? Like, you want your lover to be your friend, but every brother out, a lot of brothers out there right now, you have a female that you've been knowing for a while or something like that. Y'all was childhood friends or something. Your mama knew her mama or something, and you just don't really look at her in a sexual way like that. Like, you don't have intimacy eyes for her. You feel me? Like, and she could be beautiful and all that, but you just don't feel that. No shade to her or you. You just not you're just not in that space, and that's okay, right? And I'm sure there's females out there too that have brothers that they know that, if your girlfriend say, "Girl, I know you trying to sleep with so and so," girl, so and so, that's like my brother, and it's icky. Like, you don't even feel that, you know. So it's the same equation, everybody. It's just you're dealing with, the only thing that makes it different, you're dealing with somebody that's famous, but the human property is still there. Stay with me. Stay with me. Now, so I believe her when she said she was not friends with him because of who he was. I believe it not only in just her testimony, but it's backed up by the fact that she and Michael remained friends. Michael was a celebrity. I can tell you, it didn't have to be Michael. If anybody that was friends with her, or if you meet a celebrity, they start to feel like you friends with them because of who they are, and they know, you wouldn't have that relationship. You just wouldn't. You just wouldn't. So the fact that he maintained this relationship lets us know, Yeah, that's real. She's got receipts from Joe Jackson. She's got receipts from one from some of the kids, from the grandkids. Some of the other ones, not Michael's kids. You understand? She's got plane tickets that were sent to her. She's got memoirs. She's got pictures. I mean, she has receipts. But she's devastated, and it will break your heart when you watch this. I was to tears. Y'all know I cry at everything. I was brought to tears because she said Michael gave her some things in March. I think she said March of 2009. That would have been 3 months before he died. All right. One of the things he gave her is sealed, and he was saying, just I want you to make sure that you give this to my mother, just if anything ever happens to me. And in the incidental story, she talks about how she said, you're good, like nothing's gonna happen to you. Like, it's also the incidental stuff that she says, and it all lines up when somebody's telling you a story. You understand? And I'm a very good trier of fact. You say, and she's a white heifer, so I would definitely be detecting. You see? But she is absolutely forthright and honest. She don't have no access to grind. She is not here for money at all. What breaks her heart is she's trying to fulfill a promise to Michael that she said she would. First of all, that's honorable. But second of all, you can tell that really is her only motive. That's her only motive. And she has to give it to the mother. She keeps getting pushback from different people in the family and security members and lawyers and stuff like that. They first act like, yeah, I'll help you out. I'll help you get to Catherine. But then they want to know what it is. And she says, I can't tell you. Because she doesn't want to betray Michael. You see? Forget that it's Michael. I've told you guys a million times. I'm a fiercely loyal dude. Fiercely loyal. If I'm your friend, you don't got nothing to worry about. You know I have your back. You know it. That's a guarantee. You don't got to worry about the Jedi. I know he in my corner. I know he got my back. Period. And that's what I see her trying to express. And then there's some other items that are personal items that are more memory type stuff, But Michael gave her instruction to give it to his mother, and he was arranging for her to meet his mother. In fact, she was supposed to be flying out to see him. He was bringing her out once again, or either she was going to Los Angeles to see him. He wanted her to come out and see him so they could have some time to spend, because he was going to be leaving to go overseas to start this O2 Arena stuff. Her suitcases were at the door the day she finds out that Michael passed. And that whole story, the way she tells it, is very emotional. I'm not going to blow that for you. Just watch that part on your own. I'm just trying to bring you, I'm not trying to ruin the story for you. I'm just trying to help you understand why I'm giving this so much credence and why this is so important. So she eventually was able to go to the house that Catherine moved into, because remember, Catherine left the Havenhurst compound, and her and the kids were out in Calabasas. We know that from other family members and some of the kids. Plus, that's where Oprah's fat ass went to interview Catherine when she did the interview after Michael passed away. That was done at Calabasas. All right. She's in tears because she talks about how Michael put his mother up on a pedestal. Like a pedestal that you can't reach. I know that to be true. I've said to you all, one of the many things that I had in common with this man is his mama and my grandmama are the same woman. His mother was indeed the most important person in his life. And even though Michael is not here to testify to this next statement, even over his children. Because as much as I would love my children, if I had children right now, I promise you my grandmother would be everything still. She just would be. Like, that's just it. You understand? And I need to interject this to also to say that all them people out there talking about Michael is still alive and it's a hoax and this, that, sat your ass down, because what I know absolutely is Michael Jackson would not put his mama through that. That woman is devastated over the loss of her son. Devastated. Devastated. You could tell it is the most painful thing in her life, especially if you go back and watch the interview that Oprah did with her. I just wanted to hold her, even, you know, and just to hold her. Like, it's nothing you could really do to somebody when they're in that much grief. All you can do is be there and hold. That's it. You can't do nothing else. And she was devastated. And she's not going to be getting over that ever. The loss of her son. And this woman talks about, she mentions it several times incidentally. You could tell, like I'm saying, it's things that you could tell she doesn't even know the weight of some of the things that she's saying, because she's just telling her story. But there's parts of it that are so profound, and you can tell she has no idea what the value of this is. More than that, how much it's lining up and absolutely letting me know this is 100% G right here. Like, straight up, no lies. You understand? So, everybody keeps discouraging her. She's saying, she says, I just need to get to Miss Jackson. Joe had given her the okay to go up to Calabasas' home, had given the security clearance and all that stuff, and when she came, when they had the pass and all that stuff, and when she drove in, it was all good at first. All of a sudden, some of the infighting family stuff, and then the security comes out and says that you can't be here right now. She's like, but Mr. Joe Jackson told me to come, told me it was okay. And they were like, nah, you can't be here, You'll get that when you hear it. You can tell, because you know how when you've walked into something and you don't have nothing to do with it, but you can tell it's some fighting going on, and you're kind of in it by proxy, not directly, but like you're a problem. Not that you're hated, just you're a problem based on what they're dealing with, type thing. So she had to leave. She keeps saying, I just need a few minutes with her. It doesn't have to be a whole day. I don't even need an hour. She can bring lawyers. She can bring whatever she wants. I need to just specifically give this to her directly. And then I'm done, because I will have fulfilled the promise that I made to Michael. Oh man, it's so compelling, you guys. And then she talks about how Dr. Murray, Michael said that, every time he turns around, Dr. Murray was giving him something. She knew Michael for 10 years. She said that I only ever saw him take 2 Tylenol. That's it. And one time she saw him have a little bit of wine. She goes, I never seen him do drugs. I never seen him smoke a cigarette. I never seen him drinking, just like drinking and all that. So when she talks about how Dr. Murray was giving him stuff, and he was saying, I just don't feel like myself. He said, and sometimes I feel kind of tight in my chest and things like that. But he keeps telling me I'm fine. It's nothing. Don't worry about it. And she goes, he's a doctor and he's telling you not to worry about it? Because the precipitous for bringing in Dr. Murray, which they probably was going to bring him in anyway, but Michael was saying he wanted a doctor for the kids. And so she was like, well, if they're going to bring in a doctor, it should have been a pediatrician. Like, not a heart surgeon. Excuse me. Anyways, through some hills and valleys and some ups and down discovery things. Come to find out, one of the things that Dr. Murray was giving Michael was Ambien. She said, I guess she has some knowledge of Ambien. She said that Ambien, if you take it during the day when you're not trying to go to sleep, it will jack you up and make you sick. It's because it's one of the strongest medications out there. All right. I don't know that much about Ambien as far as that side of it, but I do know Ambien. I've seen documentaries on Ambien. I've seen where people have gotten up in the middle of the night and killed people and done all sorts of things. Like, I can't. You understand? Like, I can't. But she said that every time she turned around, he was like, you need this here. This will make you feel better. You need this. You need this. You need this. And apparently Michael wasn't able to say no because Murray essentially worked for the powers that be, that Michael is saying could shut everything down and destroy him. So I believe Michael was being held hostage. I'm going to use that word in quotations. I believe Michael was being held hostage, y'all, in that house. And she said she was disgusted by when she saw him, after he got out of jail, and he's going around talking about, Michael is my friend, Michael, my friend, my beautiful friend. I'm doing all this now. She wasn't doing all this. Like, y'all know I have to dramatize every damn thing and start channeling people that I talk about. I've done that since I was a child. Like, if I'm talking about somebody, I take on them when I'm telling you about them. I don't know why I do that, but that is an issue because that lines up also with the day that Michael died. You're calling 911 and the doctor is there. He doesn't know that a person who's not breathing should be moved to the floor to give CPR to? The 911 dispatcher said, where's he at now? And they go, he's on the bed and we're trying to resuscitate him. No. Move him to the floor. Listen, I'm not a doctor, and most of us right here, right now, are not. But most of us know that. We've heard it. We learned it someplace. We not know EMT, but we know that. You get them on the floor. You get them on a hard surface. Not on the bed. Not on the bed. You understand? So it further speaks to the getting rid of Michael for the sake of owning his assets and controlling the money. She talks about, she has receipts also, stuff from the kids. Like she's got she's got pictures and stuff that the kids made for her, like when they were little. She tells the story of Michael they were together one day, and Paris was like just a little stinker at the time and had this persistent cough that simply would not go away. And this lady's mother made up a concoction of honey and sugar and whatever, and it just went away. And Michael was saying like he had been trying to get rid of this cough for her forever and nothing was working. And this lady just came in and just like saved the day, like within like a half hour or something like this, She's broken, you could tell. She's very authentic. She's very forthright. She also is engaging because when people are just telling it, when you're telling a story, the truth flows like water. It just flows. And she's not 90 years old. If it was like a 90-year-old grandma, then they have to look up in the sky and remember what date it was and this type of thing. None of that's happening here. It's very fluid. It's very fluid. And all of her timelines all check out. They line up. They make sense. She's got locations. She's got names. She's got all of it. You understand? But I feel like this lady needs to, she's in a catch-22. If she can't call up like news agencies, because then it will look like something. And like, yeah, I'm trying to get a hold of Michael's mother, You feel me? She does not want that at all. And you can tell that her deepest frustration is she really wants to fulfill this promise that she made to Michael that she would deliver this stuff to him. But she also has to protect the privacy of it as well. She has to. I can't tell you what I have. It's only for her. You know, it seems easy enough. Can't y'all just make an arrangement for her to bring her to Catherine? You know what I'm saying? And you can just have like a whole brigade of police or security, whatever you need there. Pat her down. What I'm saying? Just this needs to be done. And what I will tell you from meeting his mother, his mom would be interested in this because she also received some coffee table books of I forget the name of it. Something of Michael, right? These big books. And they're supposedly signed on the inside by Catherine. She don't believe it. She'll be somebody else sent it, trying to make it seem like, yeah, Catherine sent it. And so, yeah, you're talking directly to Catherine, so you good. It's not like that. Plus the number that Michael had gave her and said, you know, you can always reach me here. You know, if you can't reach me, this is a number you can always get a hold of me. And it's a Havenhurst number, potentially. But, of course, when she needed it, and then now when she called, you know, the number you're calling is not in service, and this, that, and third, which celebrities do change their numbers every 10 minutes if they want to. That goes on a lot. But I want to know what it is, because when you really have something deep, especially if you feel like your mortality could be at hand or something could be shady, if your mama's still living, that's the main one you want stuff to be told to. I don't care what's going on. You know? It don't even have to be something like that. Just let the cops roll up on you, and all of a sudden they talk about, you know, we're gonna have to, we have to take you in or something like that. First thing you call my mama. You see what I'm saying? Call my mama, cause that's your instinct. My mama. You know. And I think Catherine has a right to know whatever this is that her son left. She is devastated. This could be something that could give her some comfort in her last years on the earth. You know, I pray Allah gives her another 100 years, quite frankly. You know, but it's unlikely. You know, and Catherine Jackson is a woman of a certain age now. You know, what is she, in her 80s or something like that? Is she 90 yet, y'all? Let's find out. Let's ask to have a. All right, have a. How old is Catherine Jackson?
Catherine Jackson is 88 years old.
She's 88 years old. Wow. And speaking of age, I just looked at the clock and it's now officially my grandmother's birthday. Allahu Akbar. My grandmother's birthday is March the 16th, everybody. March the 16th. March the 16th. This is the day of my queen. This is the hour of my queen. My queen. After life, after the breath of life, giving me life to be on earth, the next greatest thing Allah gave me was my grandmother. There's breath of life and my grandmama. The two greatest things Allah has given me on the earth. But, so, Kate is 88. You understand? And I just feel like that she's deserving. And she talked about one of the, I don't know, one of the grand boys, older ones or something, you know, was all canoodling and nice with her and stuff at first. And then she won't give it to him, so he suddenly turned on her. You know, after Joe gave her permission to go up to the Calabasas house, he called and cussed her out. What the hell do you think you doing? And you doing this and the third and woo, and how dare you, and ah. And she was just like over it. Her feelings were hurt. Listen, you make your own assessment, everybody. But I think when you watch this chick, we're like, well, man, these are the type of people you need speaking up to tell anything about Michael. You know, and I suspect there's a small army of people like her out there around the world that Michael knew, that found that basic common human connection with that he needed, that was authentic. It wasn't because of his fame or anything like that. And I just feel like there might be a small army of those people out there. You feel me? She also talks about how when he talked about because they met after the first allegations that ever happened. And she said, you know, they would be together someplace, or, you know, they'd be at home, or, you know, whatever. And when he talked about it, she said you could tell it just crushed the entire soul of him. It just took everything out of him. Like that was the worst thing anybody could ever do, is to say that about him. You know, she talks about how he said he's always looking for a way. He always wanted to just get rid of child hunger. Like, how is it that there can be children that don't have anything to eat? He just couldn't get his mind around that, you know. Like, I share that with him. I mean, my pillow is wet with tears of many a day and night over exactly that. And I don't just confine it to children. It deeply saddens me. I'm obsessed with the fact that there's people that just don't have a place to live and food to eat. It kills me. It kills me. I mean, there's many a day, like there's not a week that doesn't go by where when I sit down to have dinner and my tears are falling into my food. Allah is my witness. My tears are falling into my food because I'm just seeing pictures in my head of people that are in a doorway someplace, you know, or they're behind a shopping cart, behind a piece of cardboard, and they're dirty, and that's they station. They don't have, you feel, it breaks me down. Do you understand me? It takes everything out of me. Everything. 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 Anyways, watch this lady, y'all. She wasn't there for who he was. She gives credence to the fact that Michael was murdered. She talks about how devastated he was at anybody accusing him of being a damn child molester. She also, unbeknownst to her own self, proves and gives legitimacy to her Dr. Murray story because she doesn't even know she don't even know who she's talking about. And I know it's Dick Gregory. I know that. We know that. You understand? And she's trying to get her story out there. I don't know who this dude is that's interviewing her. Yeah, so I can't really vet him. But you watch this lady. And for all y'all really fanatic fans of Michael, share the hell out of it, you know, because I really think what she has to say is important. And it's another piece, you know. We also find out that he had a major crush on his chef, the sister that was his chef, you know. And she talks about he was a doting father, you know, and they also connected on a parent level because she was a single parent at the time that she met Michael, and so Michael was a single parent, you know, and all that kind of thing. And she really is able to testify to how he was with his children in a way that is not from somebody that is all namey and stuff, you know. Like, I'd rather hear from her than the chef. I'd rather hear from her than Michael's attorney. I'd rather hear from her than like the maid at the, you see what I'm saying? Like she's just a regular person that works a regular job who happened to, Michael Jackson happened to befriend her. She even tells the story of one time she came to, or he was supposed to meet her someplace. I think they were meeting in a hotel with her mom and, and her kids or whatever. And this dude shows up. And she's like, can I help you? And the dude just stood there. All of a sudden the phone rings. She goes to answer the phone. She goes, Mr. Jackson would like permission to come in. She couldn't believe it was Michael because he was in full disguise, And she was like, you wouldn't know it. You just wouldn't even know it. She goes, but you could tell. She goes, one way you could tell was the eyes. Now, that also rang absolutely true for me because of my own story, right? Back when I used to impersonate Michael Jackson, I was out one day and I was looking for this specific belt that he wears as a part of his bad outfit. All right, let me see if I can find a picture of me to show you that belt. All right, let me see if I can zoom this. Now, this belt, y'all, right here, and it's got these big hoops that go around it, right? This belt. I had to find that belt. All right. We're out in California, and I was going to punk rock stores and leather shops and get them at S&M and whatever. All right. Trying to find this belt. Here's probably one of the most special stories I could tell you. That day, it was me and my cousin who was the head of my security, but I wasn't dressed as Michael that day. And we went in. There was nobody in the shop except for me and my cousin and the dude that worked there. I was perusing around for a while. I found this belt and I went to the counter. And I began to tell him why I was buying. No, strike that. I took the belt to the counter. He goes, this the belt you want? For real? And I go, yeah. He goes, Michael Jackson bought this same belt. Right there, I had a heart attack and had to be revived. I go, are you serious? He goes, yeah. He goes, and it was the only thing he bought the day that he came in. And he began to tell me, he said, we were empty just like it is right now. He said a big guy came in. I know who he was talking about. I can't remember the brother's name, but we've all seen him. Big brother that wears the tall black hat. He came in, perused the place a little bit. He leaves out. Then he comes back in with this dude that had like some wig on and just, it was like on whatever. He perused around for about the same amount of time that I did, he said. And he brought this belt to the counter. When he rang it up, the guy put down his American Express card, and it said Michael Joseph Jackson on it. He looked up, and the person standing in front of him pulled the glasses down that he was wearing, and he said chills went through him. Because when he saw the eyes, he was like, that's Michael. And he almost had a stroke and had to be revived, and he was airlifted to the nearest hospital. That'll be in the book. Settle down, settle down. And it was just such a weird story because it was, again, that whole 6 degree of separation or 1 degree of separation thing that Michael and I had. And here I was buying, I was looking for that belt, had to have that belt, end up in the exact same store that he bought it in under the same conditions and buying it from the same dude that had sold Michael the exact same belt. And then I told him, I said, I actually impersonated him. That's why I'm buying this belt. And he couldn't believe it, It was just too much. It was too much. It was too much. It was too much. But I mentioned that because when she said, the guy shows up at her room in disguise, and then the guy calls and says Mr. Jackson would like permission to come in, and then they got it. And she even tells a little side story. She said, she goes, my mom said to him, she goes, young man, you don't look anything like your pictures. It's just like a joke. And but again, it's one of them other things, it's another piece when you're evaluating a witness. You know, all these little pieces matter. What are they saying? How do they say it? What language do they use to say it? What's their demeanor, etc. You see, are you able to juxtapose that with other things that also support that claim? Blah, 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 blah. You understand? So, this woman needs to be heard. But only for the reasons that even she's citing, quite frankly. And she's not even saying she needs exposure. She's just been trying to strategically reach out to the right people to carry out her promise. She's not trying to go to the press. She's not trying to go to the media and all this other thing, And that's why this low-key dude, whoever this dude is somebody that she's talking to. She's just trying to fulfill her promise to get this information and whatever this is to Michael Jackson's mother. But I feel like it's unavoidable if they don't act or do something to acknowledge her, because she may just get to a point where the only thing that matters is just that it gets out, that it gets to her. And so if I have to take drastic measures to get to his mother, then so be it. I mean, she's even contacted law enforcement that could give her access, that they could make calls and things. I mean, she's trying to work the back end, you see, behind the scenes, just to fulfill her promise. She's not trying to get fame. She's not trying to get money. She's not trying to get any of that stuff. She even talks about how when a lot of times she'd be with Michael and he loves to give gifts and things like that. And she's like, no, I got my money. I'm good. I'm good. I've got my own, And she said she could tell that he wasn't used to that, But a lot of celebrities go through that, They just, folks around you, they just assume you paying the bill. You feel me? Nah, you know. Anytime Vanity and I would be any place, I use her because she was my closest, the one I was closest to. I mean, we lived together, for God's sake, you know. And I think that's one of the other things that she observed about me. Like I had my own money. Like a lot of times I'm paying for stuff for her. So what, you know? So it was clear, like, oh, he's not here for money. Like, it's good, you know. But um, definitely go and see this Miss Willis lady, y'all, because as I say, I believe this woman. I believe her. And when she tells the story of finding out, like the day that Michael died, the way she found out, that's really gonna get you. That's really gonna get you. But I want you to be listening very carefully to everything she's saying there through her tears and everything. Like, what is she saying there in that moment matters so much, because you find out what's important to her, where her mind is, and what her motives are. And it backs up that she don't got no ulterior motive bones in her body on this. Not at all. Not at all. So, the link for this is in the description box down below, everybody. Go and watch it. But I'm surprised and not surprised, that she exists and that this YouTube video only has 17,000 views. Like, that should be 17 million. And I just attribute that to the fact that I guess people don't really, maybe they saw it and didn't take it seriously, and some people just clicked past it. And then people have watched it. I'm sure it had to have an impact on them. This is a very valuable piece, dude. Like, wow. Anyways, go watch the link, everybody. I love you all.